Thank you very much, Mark. You said that fiscal contraction could lead to problems of growth, and I want to take it from there because the current crisis is primarily a crisis of growth, and growth is fundamental to how we position ourselves in the world. The famous British historian Eric Hobsbawm at some point said that the golden era from the 1950s until the oil shock of 1973 was a revolutionary period for human race, unseen since the Stone Age, because of the pace of advancement. He says that from the historical point of view, this will be more important as we look back than communism or Cold War. This huge advancement of the human race. But clearly growth is a crucial factor for that. And now we see its enormous drive for austerity programs, which could put a question mark over growth. So I want to ask Maciej Witucki how he sees that. What could be the new drivers of growth in the US and Europe?
Well, first, I think that calling this crisis only crisis of growth does not do justice to growth. It's not about growth only. The growth, the pure economic and growth crisis, we've got one in the 30s. I think that nowadays we have a crisis of faith and of trust, at least at the equal level as the crisis of growth. I remember unfortunately I can only realize it after years, a few weeks before the banking crisis started in the US, I was in New York, and I had been in one of those fancy lifts with a small TV screen in there. And all on the TV screen was about poor situation, a deteriorating economy, a lack of trust of Americans in the new investments. And I think it was really, when I think about it today, it's really started with the problem of faith and trust. Then went the crisis, the banking system crisis. And I used to work for a bank. Banks are companies of the public trust. So this crisis of banks immediately resulted by a collapse of the public trust in the economy. When you look at all and you don't need to do a very complicated researches to see that people that don't believe anymore, or they believe much less than they used to, in the economy and in the indicators of the growth. Look today, we have back to growth situation in many countries in Europe, with some potential problems in 2011 and 12, but we have Germany at +3 and something, we have Sweden at +4, and despite of those numbers, people just don't trust that the crisis is over. So I think now we have a big challenge of restoring the trust into the economy. People are turning into the states. They are turning into the state-owned economy. We see this tendency very new in Poland. We have only 20 years of the democracy behind us. We have been a champion of the liberal economy, and suddenly we have a strong turnover in the public opinion, coming back into the state-owned assets as a guarantee of stability and of growth. So I think that this trust into the economy, we must restore it. Otherwise, we will go into the over-regulations, which then will slow down this economic growth. Now, what would be the elements? What would be the drivers of the growth? I'm afraid that I know first what will not be the driver of the growth for our Western economies, if I may say. We have been always wondering, and we're still wondering about innovations. And I'm very sorry, I've got I'm an engineer, so one of the worst experiences as an engineer, believing in the innovation in Europe. One of my worst experiences was a few months ago. I went to see one of the champions in the production of the telecom and high-tech components in Europe. I've seen the R&D center, and the director of the R&D center said our ambition for the incoming 3 years, it's really to invest in the R&D as much as Chinese. And when you hear it from one of the historical champions of innovation and of growth, then you understand that we somehow lost this battle, at least at the short term. So innovation, I'm very sorry, I don't believe in it. Not as of today. It's not in short term. We will not do it. And the second kind of fashionable element is all those green energies. Again, I just want to say it will not come. The volumes will be not big enough to bring the real growth at the scale of the transatlantic relations. But we still have. Let's don't forget that we still have, I would say, our traditional industry. And this traditional industry, it's still fashionable. It means when I look on my country, on Poland, we have been somehow saved from the worst impact of the crisis, of the global crisis, because of our SMEs. SMEs is producing seats for cars, components for planes, or providing services. Wroclaw is a great example of the service centers located in Poland. So we have the traditional economy, which is not going so bad. The German cars, French airplanes, and Polish components are still of value, and are still the real economy is still of value. We have our banking sector. This is something which should, if it's not killed by the over-regulations, I believe that those elements of our future growth, and as long as we don't go into the over-trust in the states and the administrations, if we trust ourselves more, then I believe that we can suddenly realize that the growth is possible, and the growth is already there. And we just have the big shock of the past 3 years, which is spoiling our vision.
Thank you very much.